Have you ever tried to laugh without smiling? Alright, what's up guys? So today I'm going to do a quick video on Druid legendary, specifically Resto. Maybe I'll throw in some boomy sides on the at the end. But today's big legendary, or yesterday started a big legendary week. People starting to make their legendaries, so I want to just get this out there so people have an idea what I want to do. Maybe give my opinion. By no means is any of this, you know, permanent. This is the best. Don't stress it. You'll have time to get everything you want. If you want all of them, you'll get them all. It only takes about a week, 2 weeks to get it, and then to max rank it, it takes about a month. So I mean, you can either choose to, you know, spread yourself out, get a bunch of them, try them out, have some fun with it, because a lot of them are actually a lot of fun. Or you could choose to, you know, focus on one and build it up, depending on your playstyle. If you're trying to do like PvE and PvP and Raid and Mythic Plus and, you know, all the above, maybe you want to kind of spread yourself out, pick like 2 or 3, test them out, see what you like the best, and then go from there. It's just so you know, when you upgrade in Legendary, it does not change the effect at all, just the eye level. So it's really not the biggest deal if you, you know, you pick the wrong one and you're behind a week or so. You can get it right back. All right, so let's get right into it. So these are all of the Druid legendaries. Starting off with the general ones. Circle of Life and Death. This was my #1 pick going into Shadowlands. The only thing is it comes from the raid, the second to last boss, I believe. And the raid's not out yet, and I am not a big raider. I don't know how often I'll be able to get into the raid. So with that said, I did not make this one first. I actually made the Elder Druid, as we'll get to in a minute, but my first legendary I wanted to pick was Circle of Life and Death, just because it's a good versatile pick. It increases your damage and healing, works well in PvP and PvE, works for different specs, works well for balanced, feral, and Resto. Whatever I wanted to play, it'd be good because it just works for everything. And I love to play all the Druid specs. Next up, so this is probably my #1 pick overall. I'm probably gonna get this whenever possible. This will be the next one I get 100%. Next one, Draught of Deep Focus. When Moonfire, Rake, Rip, Rejuve are on a single target, their effects are increased by 40%. This is a really interesting one. I really like this on the beta for 2s when you're playing with like a you know a setup comp. So like when you're CCing the healer all the time, or you're just training one target down. The damage was like when you paired it with Heart of the Wild, Master Shapeshifter. If they ever freaking fix that thing, it's been bugged for months now. If you didn't know, Master Shapeshifter doesn't even work, by the way, it just falls off. If they fix that, and then on top of that, if you are running Necrolord, it's another benefit. Your Rake and Moonfire are freaking insane. Like they're ticking for like probably like 3-4k sometimes. Like once you get max gear, it's absurd. But again, you kind of get a downfall because the only bad part about it, is Druid isn't the best healing right now when it comes to like bursts, and sometimes you're gonna have to spread rejuves and whatnot. Again though, but in 2s it might be kind of fun to play, or in just world PvP trying to 1v1 people. Interesting pick. I'll definitely gonna think to pick this one up in the future. Lycara's Fleeting Glimpse, useless. I think just the benefit from it, the only possible benefit would be like the Starfall one, because Starfall's kind of insane, and like maybe if you're running Balance Affinity as Resto Druid in Mythic Plus, probably the only thing I would ever use it for. But yeah, kind of just useless. I don't like this one at all. Also the Elder Druid, like I said, this is actually the one I picked up yesterday. This is a really fun one because once every minute you get Heart of the Wild for 10 seconds. And on top of that, your affinity bonus is buffed by 75%. So if you're playing feral affinity, you have, instead of 15% movement speed, you have 26, which is crazy. And then instead of increasing your range by 5, it goes to about 8. So I think your spells have like a 49-yard range, which is insane. You could be like on Blade's Edge Arena. You could be on literally one side to the other side and like start popping people. And I'm definitely gonna be trying out Balance Affinity with Convoke as Resto. It's actually a blast, and if you can stay max range with this legendary, I don't know, maybe it's got some potential. But it's a lot of fun too. So, and then you'll see some gameplay coming in the future just because I got this. So you definitely see once Arena starts next week, I'll be playing this. And you can just play around when the debuff's off. So the cool thing about this is, just so if anyone hasn't tried this out, it only triggers in combat. So for example, if you start combat in that form, so let's say I'm Feral Affinity with this, if I start in Prowl and open with a Rake, and I rake the target, it won't proc. I would have to shift out and shift back in. It's only when you shift into your affinity's form once you're in combat, if that makes sense. So same with Moonkin Affinity. If you're Moonkin Affinity or Balance Affinity and you start the fight in Moonkin, it won't trigger, which is sometimes good, especially for Feral Affinity, because you can stack up combo points, stack up 5 combo points before you get the proc. And if you combine this once a minute with Badge, which is only a minute cooldown, and Convoke, which is a 2-minute cooldown, but again, having, you know, creating really big setups if you're playing with like a mage or a hunter or anything else that you're trying to really just focus on big setups, could be really deadly. So definitely you're going to see a lot of that in the future. When it comes to the Resto ones, personally, I like to do a lot of damage, so I am not worried about picking any of these up anytime soon, but I'll give my opinion on them anyway. So usually the big two in PvP that people are focusing on is either the double life bloom one, which is the Dark Titan's Lesson. I actually did get this. I did get this recipe. Or the Swiftmen one, which Swiftmen no longer consumes a heal over time effect and extend your current duration heal over time effects by 8 seconds. If I were to pick one, Swiftmen 100%. This may be good, but good lord, it is the most annoying thing to play, because I mean, you're pretty much every druid is going to be playing focus growth at this point in PvP. So now you're trying to keep up 6 stacks of life bloom at all time. Like, I felt like I played this a little bit on the beta. I feel like I was just pressing life bloom every other button. It was kind of annoying, and I hated how I played. It may be good for spread pressure, but I still think Swiftmen would beat it out, especially because of the extended hots. It's going to save you a lot of mana in the long run, and especially if you use this with a combination with Flourish, which I have actually been using a lot, and Cenarian Ward. You can extend Cenarian Ward by 8 seconds, and then you can extend it another 8 seconds with Flourish. And on top of that, it's 100% increased effectiveness. Like, your Cenarian Ward can probably 0 to 100% somebody if you like stack all that. Kind of ridiculous. So this is probably, if I do go for one, it will definitely be the Swiftmen one. Just my thoughts if you're trying to PvE. The wild, I would say Mythic Plus, probably between the Vision of Unending Growth, which just randomly will proc rejuves, or the Wild Growth one. I would probably go Wild Growth. Wild Growth's kind of a lot of fun to play with. Just kind of more interactive. But again, I'm not really a PvE guy, so I'm not the guy to really listen to on what's absolutely the best. And then just to throw this in at the end, because I do play balance a little bit, if I were to pick one balance power, it would either be, it would have to be Time Worn Dreambinder. I like to play the Starfall Stellar Drift build, and it's so much fun. And with that, if you can increase Starfall's damage by 20%, it's 10% stacking 2 times. Oh my, it's gonna do so much damage. I can only imagine. Otherwise, you could try also the one that procs each. These are actually all pretty fire. This is Arcane Pulsar, the Primordial Arcane Pulsar. It's the same as what BFA Arcane Pulsar was. And I've actually seen people using Balance of all things for Resto, which is interesting in PvE. It's because if you're playing Balance Affinity and Mythic Plus, which I actually enjoy more than Feral Affinity, I think it's a little bit better. Using this, because you can just get an Eclipse when, like, all the time, just cast 2 Wraths, bang, you're in an Eclipse. And increases your crit by 50%, which is pretty nuts. This is the one I was like globaling people on the beta, because this used to be 100%, and then it nerfed to 75, and now it's 50. But yeah, I'd probably go with Dreambinder first, and then probably Clear Vision second, then Pulsar, and then Balance all things when it comes to balance. And I think that's about it. I would debate trying some of the Feral ones because I play Feral Affinity, but these are just kind of crap, to be honest. I did try the Cat and Curio one on the beta. Didn't really like it that much. You can't really use these other ones. The Rip, I don't really keep Rip up enough to make this worthwhile. Maybe I'll try in the future. Like I said, once you max rank all these legendaries, you could just start picking up random ones as long as you get the pattern. I already have this pattern, so maybe I'll try this one in the future. This one was also pretty nice because your cat form, I felt like it never was running out of energy. It was actually gnarly. And with haste being really low right now, it might be kind of fun to play with, so I'll definitely look to try it in the future. And then as for Guardian ones, there is actually one that actually may be applicable, and it's this one, the Nature's Order Will. This actually might be used later on. Like, again, people probably aren't gonna be doing this kind of stuff in the beginning, but this is actually a pretty gnarly defensive legendary. Reduces damage taken by 10%. Bark Skin reduces additional 10%, and when it begins and ends, you get Iron for and Frenzy Regents. So that's 2 Frenzied Regents from just pressing bark skin, which is only a minute cooldown. And then if you can combine that with the frenzied regen conduit and the bark skin conduit, you're just a tank, literal tank. Because the one frenzy regen with the conduit is probably around, and then max rank conduit's probably gonna be around 50% of health. So yeah, you do the math. It's just this every time you bark skin, you're gonna just top yourself, and it works in stealth and in stuns too. So like if you get stunned, like by a rogue or something, you press bark skin, procs iron fur and frenzy regen, even though you're not in bear form. Kind of insane. Sleeper pick, might pick up in the future, probably not because I'm an aggro idiot and I like to do a lot of damage, but maybe once they add in more than one legendary in the future, this is going to be a gnarly pick that people probably aren't looking at. And so yeah, that's about it on the legendaries. So just to recap, I have the Oath of the Elder Druid first, and I'm probably going for the Circle of Life next, if anyone wants to know. But again, hope you guys enjoy it. Get your legendaries, and we got next week starts arena season, so let's get after it, get those legendaries grinded out, and we're going to be back with a lot more arena content once the arena season starts. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys hit the sub if you like the content, follow the stream, like the video, and have a great freaking day. Peace.